So now today in this last session we will study, we will see the first chapter, that is the living world. So how many of you are ready to make this session very special? So all of you give a thumbs up if you are ready for botany. So let's start. So in this session we will talk about the very important and very small chapter, one of the easiest chapter of botany. So we will start with the easiest of the chapters. It is also the smallest one. So in this chapter we will study about living organism. So but before going into that, let's ask ourselves this question: what is biology? So basically biology is the study of living organism, in which we will study the living organism, we will study the life processes, we will study the interaction of different living organism, and we will study the evolutions. So life processes we will study here. We will study the life processes and we will study life processes, interaction and evolution. Here we will also help to understand the different types of plants and animals, so which includes the biodiversity. We will also include life complexity. So basic, we are going to study about life and living organisms. So let's start with this chapter, the living world. So living organism. So what early humans think about this? So early humans were not very much knowing about the living organism and the non-living organism. So in NCERT, they have used this two words, animate and inanimate. So animate means living and inanimate means non-living. Now, it's a human tendency that when we don't know about any organism, then we tend to fear with it. So there is an NCERT, very good NCERT line written, that human being used to get awe and fear from both animate and inanimate organism. So initially humans were not concerned about studying living organism. They were fearing from living organism or getting surprised by living organism. Then gradually as human evolved, they started studying about humans, but it remained anthropocentric. Again a key word given in NCERT. Anthropocentric means human-centric. Now, the study of human, if it remain around, revolving around human, so we cannot study the entire biological organism. So then gradually human has broadened the spectrum and they started learning about living organism in different dimension. So again here very two important terms, that human or the living organism were studied in two dimensions. One was the horizontal similarity, another is vertical similarity. So first let's understand what is horizontal and vertical similarity. So I will explain by example. So let's say if I ask you, what is the similarity between a dog and a lion? Yes, you will say there are many differences, but there are many similarities. What is the similarity between a rat and a cow? Of course they are similar, but they are similar also and they are different in many aspects also. Then if I say what is the similarity between cat and cat? So you will say yes, there is similarity, but does all cat are equal? No, their color may be different, their size may be different, their variety may be different. So from here what we understand, that the similarity can be, or difference can be, between species. So when we study the similarity between the same species, then it is called horizontal similarities. But when we study similarity in between, for example, let's say here I put lion and if I put dog. So of course both of them are different, but both of them are carnivores. Both of them we can say they are carnivores. So when we study similarity in different level of organism, in different species, then such kind of similarity is called vertical similarity. Again given in NCERT, the introduction part. Then gradually the humans started learning about and studying living organism more and more, and then they have gradually realized that there is a large number of plant and large number of animal species, and overall when they have counted, they have realized that there are about 1.7 to 8 million species present on earth. Now this is important because question can directly be in your NEET, that how many species are there. Then what is biodiversity? Here a term is given, biodiversity. Gradually you know that living organism can be animal, living organism can be plant, plant can be of several variety, and animal can also be of several variety. So the variety of living organism present on earth overall is called the biodiversity. Now one question, let's say if I tell you to find out the biodiversity around your society, then you will say the biodiversity is less. Then if I tell you to tell me the biodiversity of your city, then it will be more type of plant and animal will be found there. And if I tell you to find out the biodiversity of your state, country, continent, then it will keep on increasing. What does that mean? That biodiversity depend on area. Area and biodiversity show a direct relationship. If you increase the area, then the biodiversity will automatically increase. Now as more and more areas we are exploring, earlier the equatorial region were full with forest. Gradually when we start exploring the equatorial forest, then gradually we found out many other species. So new area, new species. See, NEET has this tendency to ask statement based question. We all know that question will not be from outside NCERT. So they are now very smartly giving these points which are usually ignored by the student, but in a statement based question they will put such a statement. And then if you are not very much aware about these points, then these simple points you may do mistake. So it is very important to read each and every line of NCERT. So then once we have realized that there are large number of organisms, then the problem arises is how to call these or how to classify or arrange these living organisms. Because some of the living organisms are found throughout the world. Now in some area it is called by some other name, in some other area it is called by some other name. For example, dog, in your state it may be called by one name, in some other state it is called by some other name. Mango, lemon, all these are in different state, they are called by their different name. So then it was very important, and to avoid the confusion, it was very important to have a standard nomenclature, that one living organism will be called by one name all the time. So local names were different in different region, and also they were creating confusion in communication. Let's say I want to communicate to some other country. Then in that country, if that living organism is known by some other name, so they will get confused, obviously. So it always require a uniform system of nomenclature. Then this nomenclature provided a universal naming system, and it helps in correct identification of the organism. These scientific names were then gradually accepted globally. Now scientifically you will only call human by Homo sapiens. You will call mango by Mangifera indica. No, not by any other name. So then if this nomenclature has to be done, then who will do this nomenclature? So there has to be some standard body which will do the nomenclature. So these standard body, these are two important standard body which do the nomenclature. They have the role assigned to do nomenclature. So ICBN, International Code for Botanical Nomenclature, they will name plant, and ICZN, International Code for Zoological Nomenclature, they will code for animal classification. And they will plan or they will draft all the rule of nomenclature. So then the question comes, how do we name an organism? Then the most acceptable form of nomenclature is called the binomial nomenclature. This binomial nomenclature was developed by Carolus Linnaeus. Very simple question, it is asked in NEET. Then, according to binomial nomenclature, each living organism, the name will have two parts. One part will be called as the genus, the first part will be called as the genus, and the second part will be called as the species. So overall, genus and species together, so a two-letter nomenclature is there, that's why it is called binomial nomenclature. Now, so how there are many other rules also drafted so that this can be the nomenclature can be done correctly. So let's see some of the rules of nomenclature, and this is one of the most important part of this chapter. From here question is asked regularly. So if we see some of the rules of nomenclature, then these are some of the rules. So first thing, that all the nomenclature should be done in Latin. Now Latin is a very ancient old language which is now no longer used. So now you can ask me the question, why Latin? Why not some other language? So the reason why Latin language is used, because Latin is a dead language. So there is no chance of change in words. See, any language which is actively used always change over time. New words will come, meaning of words will change. But a dead language will never change its meaning. So that's why Latin is used, and these words are italicized, means they are written in italics. We have already seen that they will consist of two words. First word is the genus, which will start with a capital letter. Genus will start with a capital letter and species will start with the lowercase. So the first letter of genus will be capital and the first letter of species will be small letter. Then these are underlined separately when they are handwritten. They are, for example, if I write Panthera leo. Panthera leo. So in Panthera leo, I will underline them separately. So this is one of the rule. Then these, so let's say the scientists who have discovered it, can they have their name in the nomenclature? Yes, they can also have their name in the nomenclature. For example, Mangifera indica, it was name given by Linnaeus. So we can write the name of the author and the first letter will be capital and then it is written in short. So the author name will be written in last and that will be written in short. So these are some of the rules of nomenclature. So now on that basis, if we see the different nomenclature, so see it very carefully, some of the common nomenclature given in NCERT, very important. Lion, Panthera leo. Tiger, Panthera tigris. Human, Homo sapiens. Now see here, the first letter all representing the genus and the second is species. Now here, Musca, genus, domestica, species. Housefly, Musca domestica. Brinjal, genus Solanum melongena. Potato, Solanum tuberosum. Mango, Mangifera indica. Wheat, Tritum aestivum. So these are some of the names which you should keep it in mind. Question can be in the form of match the following or which of the following is the correct nomenclature of any other organism. Then further, if we see So now, till now, we have learned few things. Now, let's have a small quiz time. Now, all of you who are participating, let's answer this question. So here, the question is, who introduced the system of binomial nomenclature? All of you answer quickly. A, B, C, D. What is the answer? Quickly answer. Just we have seen. So the system of binomial nomenclature was given by Carolus Linus. It was given by Carolus Linus. Next question. Which of the following statement is correct about binomial nomenclature? Correct about binomial nomenclature. So binomial nomenclature. Tell me now, here the thing is, answer can be more than one. Answer can be more than one. Here, okay, I will give you the option. Option is A and B, B and C, C and D, or A and D. Tell me the answer. Here, out of 4 statements, 2 statements are correct. Now tell me whether it is A and B, B and C, C and D, or A and D. Which is correct? So I can see. Right. Very good. Very good. A and D. A and D. Very good. A and D is the correct answer. Right? And previous question also I can see many of you have given correct answer. C was the correct answer. Very good. A and D is the correct answer over here. So well done. Now next, match the following. Now here, match the following. Tell me. A. What will be the answer for A? Carolus Linus. So Carolus Linus has written a book called Systema Naturae. Carolus Linus has written a book called Systema Naturae, in which he has talked about systematics. Now the genus name, it is always written in, genus name is always written in capital letter. So B will be 2, A will be 1. Now species name always begin with small letter. So C3. Scientific names, they are written in italics and underline. So D will be 4. ICBN, nomenclature of plant or animal. So ICBN, nomenclature of plant. So E will be with 5. ICZN. So F will match with 6. So here simple. This kind of question is asked. This is a very sample kind of question in which question will be asked. Now, if we move ahead, so the next part is taxonomy. So we have simply seen that how living organism was discovered, then how its nomenclature was done, then how binomial nomenclature was drafted by Carolus Linus. Now further, it was studied, and then we will see the taxonomy. So what is taxonomy? Taxonomy is the branch of biology which deals with identification, nomenclature and classification of organism. So it is, remember, the correct order you also have to remember: identification, nomenclature and classification. These are done in correct, and here we will see also the similarities and difference of organism. So taxonomy definition, very important. Now if we see the individual process of taxonomy, so here basic process of taxonomy include characterization. Now characterization is in general. Here the features of plant, whether it is morphological, anatomical or physiological, are studied. Then identification. So let me explain it with example. Let's say you are walking in a forest and suddenly you see a structure like frog. Let's say you are a taxonomist who is interested in identifying organism. So when you see the frog, what you will do first? You will try to identify whether it is a frog or not. So for that, what you will do? You will study its morphological, anatomical feature. Once you realize that no, its character is not matching like a frog, it is something else, then what you will do? Then you will do the nomenclature. So first, characterization you will do, then you will do identification. Once you identify that it is a new species, then what you will do? You will do the nomenclature. And in nomenclature, you will assign a scientific name. And for that, what you will use? Binomial nomenclature. And in that, you can put your own name. You can also put your own name in short form in the third letter. And finally, once you do the nomenclature, then you will do the classification. And classification means on the basis of their feature, you will put them in their respective group. For example, if you see that it has character matching with amphibian, matching with aquatic organism, then accordingly you will put them in different organism. So overall, if we see here, so taxonomy include, in summary, identification, nomenclature, classification, characterization, and this study is based on the anatomical, external, internal structure, cell structure, and developmental ecology. Now here, one more important thing I will like you to say, that if you read the new NCERT, so there are few topics which are deleted. For example, the characteristic of living organism is deleted, but that part still is important, because many times some questions are there which will need the concept of living organism. So there you need to go through that part. But another part which is the aids, taxonomical aids. So that part is also deleted. So no need to cover that part, because from there it's very unlikely that any question will come. So let's see some of the characteristic of living organism. So living organism characteristic is growth. Living organism characteristic is reproduction. Living organism characteristic is cellular organization. Living organism character is metabolism. And living organism character is consciousness. Now let's see all these terms quickly one by one. So first is growth. Growth means what? Living organism grow in size, right? That is called growth. But can we say that only living organism grow? Tell me, only living organism grow or non-living organism can also grow? Tell me. The question is, can non-living organism grow? Tell me yes or no. Can living organism grow? So, see, growth can be shown by living organism, but in some cases it is also shown by non-living organism. Strange? Now, let me give you the example. Mount Everest, is the height increasing every year or not? Right? You must have seen in Discovery Channel or National Geographic that the height of Mount Everest is increasing. Why so? Height is increasing, but it is non-living. Then what is the reason? How we will distinguish between living and non-living organism with respect to growth? So growth can be intrinsic or growth can be extrinsic. Intrinsic growth means what? Growth from within. For example, we grow from inside. It's not that something get deposited on us from outside and we grow. The growth is from inside, that is the cytoplasm of the cell grow. So, intrinsic growth is the character of living organism. And extrinsic growth is the characteristic of non-living organism. So now, if I say, what is the defining character of living organism? Intrinsic or extrinsic growth? So the defining character is the intrinsic growth. Extrinsic growth is the characteristic of non-living organism. Now let's come to the next point. Reproduction. Do all living organisms reproduce? Do all living organisms reproduce? Yes or no? So the answer is no. All living organisms do not reproduce. Male honeybee, do they reproduce? No. Some of the transgenic animal like mule, do they? So this is a hybrid animal. So do mule breed? No. So if they don't breed, means all living organisms do not reproduce. So reproduction is not a defining character of living organism. Cellular organization. Now if I ask you, do all living organisms made up of cell? So your answer will be yes. All living organisms are made up of cell. Either they will be made up of cell, tissue, organ system, but they all are made up of cell. So cellular organization is also a defining feature of living organism. Metabolism. Now, metabolism consists of two parts. One is catabolism. See, catabolism seems similar like cutting. Catabolism, cut, right? So that's, we cut a large into small. So catabolism is breakdown of large molecule into small molecule. It is called catabolism. And anabolism is formation of, from small you form large molecule. For example, when you break down glucose into CO2 and H2O, it is a catabolism. But when you make glucose from CO2 and H2O, it is anabolism. So catabolism, anabolism, both together is called metabolism. So is metabolism a defining feature of living organism? Yes, it is a defining feature of living organism. No living organism can show metabolism, and all living organism will show metabolism. Then lastly, consciousness. What is consciousness? Consciousness is how much you are aware about your surrounding. That is called consciousness. So consciousness is also found only in living organism, right? So consciousness is also a defining feature. Now another question, if I ask you, what is self-consciousness? Now tell me, what is self-consciousness? How is consciousness differ from self-consciousness? Is self-consciousness a feature of living organism? So self-consciousness is, it means that you are very much sensitive about yourself. For example, you are going for a party and you are trying to wear a dress so that everyone likes you. So this is what? This is self-consciousness. Let's say somebody shouted on you. So next day you stop talking to that person. It is called self-consciousness, right? So self-consciousness is only found in human. No other living organism have self-consciousness, right? So consciousness, don't confuse self-consciousness with consciousness. Self-consciousness is not a defining feature of living organism, because self-consciousness is only found in human, whereas consciousness is found in all the living organisms. So overall, if I summarize, what is the defining feature of living organism? So the defining feature is First, the intrinsic growth. The defining feature is intrinsic growth. Second one, if we say metabolism, it is also a defining feature. If we say cellular organization, and lastly the consciousness. They all are the defining feature of living organism. So this part is again very important. So this part but in new NCERT these parts are not included. So you need to cover it from the old NCERT, but some of the questions can be asked from here. Now, so if we have already seen the nomenclature, we have already seen the binomial nomenclature. Now, so just if I ask you few more questions, right? So now tell me, what is the scientific name of housefly? Housefly. I have just shown it in the last. So housefly is Musca domestica. Housefly is Musca domestica. We, human. What is the biological name of human? So it is Homo sapiens. Now, if I tell you that can we write binomial nomenclature in English? So for that, if I say that binomial nomenclature, English language is used. So the answer is no. Which language is used? Latin is used, right? Latin is used. If I say they are not underlined separately, they are underlined together, again wrong answer, right? So in this way you need to prepare with it. Now, one more thing, the question mostly will be from NCERT. So now you have to develop the habit. All of you must be having NCERT. So from the beginning only, from the first introduction part, start with your NCERT. And from there you just continue. Each and every line is very important. Question always is from NCERT. Now, so let's proceed forward. So now if I say taxonomy we have already seen. Now tell me, another term is systematics. Now, what is systematics? So, simply you can say, when we add taxonomy with evolutionary relationship. Taxonomy, when they are included with evolutionary relationship, it is called systematics. Clear? Now, so in taxonomy we have already seen identification, nomenclature and classification. Along with that, if we use evolutionary relationship, then together they constitute systematics. Now, so evolutionary relationship, what does that mean? So evolutionary relation means what is the line of evolution. For example, we all say that human evolved from monkeys or chimpanzees. So what is this? This is the evolutionary relationship. So evolutionary relationship is considered in systematics. Then further if we move ahead, now in case of taxonomy, there is a term called taxa or taxon. Now what is it? Remember, we have talked about the vertical similarities, and there I have said that, let's say from here if I say, what is similarity between dog and cat? So you will say both are different species, but they both are carnivores. They both are carnivores. So always remember that living organism always have some kind of similarity and some kind of difference. So the unit of study of these similarity or these characterization is called taxa. And each living organism are present in a particular category called taxonomic category. Taxonomic categories. So how many total taxonomic categories are there? So total number of taxonomic categories are 7. And what are these? So if we start from kingdom, phylum, class, then order, family, genus, and lastly species. So there are in total 7 taxonomical categories, and each individual categories is called taxon. Each individual category is called taxon. Now out of these, if I ask you which one is the lowest category, so you will say species is the lowest category. And which one is the highest category? Kingdom is the highest category. Total number of taxonomical categories 7. Here you have to remember the exact order of these taxonomical category. Kingdom, phylum, class, order, family, genus, species. Now here you have to note, phylum is used in animal. For plant, what is used? It is the division. In case of plant, we use division. So here let's see few terms. So one term we have seen, taxa, right? Or you are also calling it taxonomical categories. Also calling taxonomical categories. So if I ask you how many taxonomical categories are there? How many taxonomical categories are there? 7. Now each category, if these 7 categories are arranged in a particular order, so then they are called taxonomical hierarchy. Now taxonomical hierarchy, when you arrange them in correct order. So taxonomical hierarchy arrange these all group into a rank. So from here a term come, taxonomical rank. Taxonomical rank. So if I say rank, means rank give us a relative arrangement. For example, let's say tomorrow you will give NEET exam and you will get a rank. So any rank you get, so accordingly some will be lower than you, some will be higher than you. So in the same way, if I say which is the lowest rank, so you will say species is the lowest rank. And which one is at the highest rank? So you will say kingdom is the highest rank. So here 3-4 terms are there. You understood? Taxonomical categories, taxonomical rank, taxon, and taxonomical hierarchy. All these terms are quite used here. So you should be able to understand it. Now, if I ask you, let's say if I write kingdom, phylum, class, order, family, genus, and species. Now if I ask you which category will have maximum similarity? Which category will have maximum similarity? Answer. Which category has maximum similarity? So the answer will be species. Species will have the maximum similarity. And which category will have minimum similarity? Kingdom will have the minimum similarity. So from here, what we can say? That as we move up in the hierarchy, the similarity keep on decreasing, and as we go down in the hierarchy, the similarity keep on increasing. So with this, this taxonomical hierarchy and category is clear. So now from here, several times question is asked in the past, arrange the following taxonomical categories in correct order. So there you have to arrange them in order. Now in the next class, we will cover all these individual taxonomical categories individually, and we will see what are the genus, how it is different from family, and how it is different categories are different from each other. Next class we will also do some more interesting question. So what I expect from all of you, so today go back from NCERT, read this chapter, The Living World, and solve some question from the portion which we have already completed. So next day we will continue with this chapter. Thank you all of you. Thank you for engaging.